is Robin Stoenner, and I'm a third grade teacher here at Nevada City School of the Arts. My class will be reading for me.
Hi, I'm Lucia, and I'm going to read a book that's called Fairy Wings. Once, when the trees and flowers grew as they pleased, there lived a host of the most tiniest, most delicate fairies. Every spring, the air hummed with the sound of fairies, fluttering from blossom to blossom to preen their blossom wings for the grand May dance. All the fairies prized their wings above anything else, all but little Fia. That is, for she was the one fairy born without wings. Now Fia's wingless condition was not easy burden to bear for her. 7 older sisters, whose lovely wings were spoken of in far-off lands. We do not blame Fia for having no wings, but her early behavior is a disgrace to all of us, Violet said to her mother. One morning, while the sisters were polishing each other's wings, we were not invited to the high tea of elderberry vine again this month, and I am certain it was because of Fia. We was recently spotted parading through a mud puddle with that slimy frog. And last month, added Rose, she frightened our friends out of the hammocks when she rode through the reeds on that horrid rat. And the month before that, chirped Pansy, she spoiled our party when she soared over us on that nasty, noisy crow. Perhaps if you would invite Fia to some of these affairs, she would not bother you so, said their mother. Bee's knees, Mother, exclaimed Daisy. Why should we invite Fia to anything when she insists on cooperating with those loathsome animals? Those animals are the only friends Fia has, scolded their mother. Fia's sisters bowed their heads with shame. We're sorry, Mother, said Esther. It's just that we heard that the royal family itself might join oppression. Will we make with Fia there? I don't think you need to worry about little Fia, their mother reassured them. She rarely bothers with fairies' dances. Now come, sweet blossoms, let us go to dry our wings under the willow tree. That same morning had fashioned a tiny boat from the
Lucia, 3 minutes.
So,
If you'd like to get this book, you can get it from the local library, and it goes on, and it just has a lot of good stories. My name is Molly Katzman, and I'm gonna read Hey Al. Al, a nice man, a quiet man, a janitor, lived in one room on the west side with his faithful dog Eddie. They ate together, they worked together, they watched TV together. What could be better? Plenty. Look at this dump, Eddie growled. We can't have a house, a little backyard to run around in for a change. Oh, sure, Al snapped. Today it's a house you want. Tomorrow, who knows, maybe the moon. The moon, the moon, Eddie howled. Pigeons live better than us. No, life wasn't easy for Al and Eddie. They were always working, always struggling. It was always something. One morning, while Al was shaving, a voice called to him. Hey, Al, it said. Al turned and saw a bird, a large bird. Al, said the bird, are you working too hard, still struggling and going nowhere? Listen, have I got a place for you? No worries, no cares, it's terrific. Huh? Al said. He was confused. Al, you need a change. Tomorrow, come and be my guest. Eddie too, you'll see, you'll love it. Then, with a few flaps, the bird was gone. You can imagine that evening's conversation. Eddie was already packing. What? Just quit my job? Al said. There's more to life than mops and pails, Eddie insisted. But that's it. We're going. I don't want to hear another word. At dawn, they were both in the bathroom waiting. A large bird appeared, and Al and Eddie were ferried thousands of feet upward to an island in the sky. Unbelievable lush trees, rolling hills, gorgeous grass, birds flitted to and fro, waterfalls cascaded into shimmering pools. Will you look at this view, Eddie said. Wow, said Al. Birds sang and brought them food. They ate, they drank, they swam, they sunbathed. They never had it so good. So Al, is this so terrible? The large bird asked. What a life, Al cooed. A guy could live like this forever. The days passed blissfully as memories of their old life slowly faded. Al and Eddie decided that this was ecstasy. But ripe fruit soon spoils. One morning, Al woke up and shrieked, Eddie, look at us. We're turning into birds. Indeed, their eyes were a little beady, their noses a bit beak-like. We've got to get out of here, he croaked. If you would like to finish this story, you could go to the local library. And thank you for listening to me when I read this book.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Justin Black, and I'm going to read The Mountains of Tibet. In a tiny village in a valley, high in the mountains of Tibet, a little boy was born. He loved to fight
Open
kids.
the book.
On clear nights, he liked to look up at the Milky Way and the stars. There are other worlds out there, he said to himself. Someday I'll go to visit them. He grew to be a woodcutter. As he gathered his wood, he looked out beyond the far mountains. There are other countries out there, he said to himself, cities and oceans and people of other races. Someday I'll go to see them. But he was always busy with his work and his wife and children. He lived to be a very old and never left his valley. Then he died. He found himself in a place that was both very dark and very bright. He heard a voice speak to him. The voice said, "You now have a choice. You may become a part of the endless universe, some called heaven, or you may live another life." "I want to live another life," said the woodcutter. "The one I just lived has faded from my mind like a dream. All I can remember is that I wanted to see more of the world. Look around you," said the voice. The woodcutter looked out and saw all the worlds of the universe. They blazed and spun like firewood on New Year's Eve. There are hundreds of millions of worlds, said the voice. They are called galaxies. Each one is different and each one is beautiful. And you may choose any one you like to live in. Then the woodcutter heard the galaxies sing to him. Choose me, sang each one. The woodcutter was frightened. His head began to spin. How can I choose? He cried. Choose from your heart, the voice replied. There was a pinwheel-shaped galaxy that looked like a great splash of milk. I like that one, said the woodcutter. And if you would like to read the rest of this book, go to your local library. And thanks for listening to me read.
My name is Sasha Fedorov, and I'm going to read Ruby the Copycat. Monday was Ruby's first day in Miss Hart's class. Ruby, you use the empty desk behind Angelina. Angelina is the girl with the pretty red bow in her hair. Angelina smiled at Ruby. Ruby smiled at Angelina's bow and tiptoed to her seat. I hope everyone had a pleasant weekend, said Miss Hart. Does anyone have something to share? I was a flower girl at my sister's wedding, said Angelina. That's exciting, said Miss Hart. Ruby raised her hand halfway. I was the flower girl at my sister's wedding, too. What a coincidence, said Miss Hart. Angelina turned and smiled at Ruby. Ruby smiled at the top of Angelina's head. Class, please take out your reading books, said Miss Hart. At lunchtime, Ruby hopped all the way home on one foot. When Ruby came back to school, she was wearing a red bow in her hair. She slid into her seat behind Angelina. I like your bow, whispered Angelina. I like yours too, whispered Ruby. Class, please take out your math books, said Miss Hart. On Tuesday morning, Angelina wore a sweater with daisies on it. At lunchtime, Ruby hopped home sideways. When Ruby came back to school after lunch, she was wearing a sweater with daisies on it. I like your sweater, whispered Angelina. I like yours too, whispered Ruby. On Wednesday, Angelina wore a hand-painted t-shirt with matching sneakers. After lunch, Ruby hopped back to school wearing a hand-painted t-shirt with matching sneakers. Why are you sitting like that? Whispered Angelina. Wet paint, said Ruby. On Thursday morning, during sharing time, Angelina modeled the flower girl dress she wore at her sister's wedding. Ruby modeled the flower girl dress too. Right after lunch, Angelina didn't whisper anything. By coincidence, on Friday morning, both girls wore red and lavender striped dresses. At lunchtime, Angelina raced home. When Angelina came back to school, she was wearing black. On Friday afternoon, Miss Hart asked everyone to write a short poem. Who would like to read first? Asked Miss Hart. Angelina raised her hand. She stood by her desk and read. I had a cat I could not see because it stayed in back of me. It was a very loyal pet. It's sad we never really met. That was very good, said Miss Hart. Now who's next? Miss Hart looked around the room. Ruby? Ruby stood and recited slowly. I had a nice pet who I never met because it stayed behind me. And I'm sure it was a cat too. Ruby smiled at the back of Angelina's head. Someone whispered. And if you'd like to read the rest of this book, you could go to your local library and check it out. Thanks for listening to me read. Hi, my name's Katie Anshikin, and I'm going to read Ride a Purple Pelican. Poor potatoes underground, never get to look around, do not have a chance to see butterfly or bumblebee. Poor potatoes never look at the fishes in the brook, never see the sunny skies, what a waste of all those eyes. When Molly Day wears yellow clothes, finches flutter by her toes. When she's in her bright blue gown, peacocks trail her through the town. When Molly Day is dressed in red, hummingbirds surround her head, but when she wears her suit of gray, no one follows Molly Day. Naughty little brown mouse, whiskers on his face, stowed aboard a rocket bound for outer space. They lifted off from Houston on Tuesday afternoon. The mouse ate cheese that Sunday in the mountains of the moon. Timmy Tat wore a watermelon hat as he waltzed in the meadow with an avocado cat. But they stumbled on a shadow, and they tumbled with a splat, and that was the finish of the watermelon hat. Early one morning on Featherbed Lane, I saw a white horse with a strawberry mane. I jumped on his back just as fast as I could, and we galloped away to the green willow wood. We galloped all morning with never a stop, where mockingbirds whistle and ladybugs hop. We drank from a stream where the water runs free, and we slept in the shade of a green willow tree. Timble Tamble Turkey lived in Santa Fe, went to Albuquerque to see the fishes play. The fishes were in Phoenix, for they had run away. So Timble Tamble Turkey went back to Santa Fe. I'm a yellow-billed duck with a black feathered back, and I waddle, 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 and I clap, clap, clap. I dabble for my dinner with a swish, 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 and I gobble, 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 all I wish, wish, wish. Kitty caught a caterpillar, Kitty caught a snail, Kitty caught a turtle by a tiny turtle tail. Kitty caught a cricket with a sticky bit of thread. She tried to catch a bumblebee, but the bee caught her instead. Ride a purple pelican, ride a silver stork, ride them from Seattle to the city of New York. Soar above the buildings, bobble like a cork, ride a purple pelican, ride a silver stork. If you want to read the rest of these poems, you can look for them in a local library. Thanks for listening to me reading.
Hi, my name is Caitlin Conlon, and I'm going to read a book called A Light in the Attic by Shel Silverstein. This first one is called Clarence. Clarence Lee from Tennessee loved the commercials he saw on TV. He watched with wide, believing eyes and bought everything they advertised. Cream to make his skin feel better, spray to make his hair look wetter, bleach to make his white things whiter, stylish jeans that fit much tighter, toothpaste for his cavities, powder for his doggy's fleas, purple mouthwash for his breath, deodorant to stop his sweat. He bought each cereal they presented, bought each game that they invented. Then one day he looked and saw a brand new ma, a better paw, new, improved in every way. Hurry, order yours today. So of course our little Clarence sent off for 2 brand new parents. The new ones came in the morning mail, the old ones he sold in a garage sale. And now they all are doing fine. His new folks treat him sweet and kind. His old ones work in an old coal mine. So if your mom and pa are mean, and make you eat your lima beans, and make you wash and make you wait, and never let you stay up late, and scream and scold and preach and pout, that simply means they're wearing out. So send for 2 brand new parents, and you'll be as happy as little Clarence. This one is called Bored. I can't afford a skateboard. I can't afford an outboard. I can't afford a surfboard. All I can afford is a board. And you'll kind of have to look at the pictures. called How to Make a Swing with No Rope or Board or Nails. First grow a mustache 100 inches long. Then loop it over a hickory limb. Make sure the limb is strong. Now pull yourself up on the ground and wait up off the ground and wait until the spring. Then swing. And there's quite a few more poems in this book, and if you'd like to read them, you can get them at the local library. Thanks for listening to me read.
Hi, my name is Ariel Trellis, and I'm going to read the book The BFG. Sophie couldn't sleep. A brilliant moonbeam was slanting through a gap in the curtains. It was shining right onto her pillow. The other children in the dormitory had been asleep for hours. Sophie closed her eyes and lay quite still. She tried to doze off. It was no good. The moonbeam was light as silver blade, slanting through the room in her face. The house was absolutely silent. No voices came up from downstairs. There were no footsteps on the floor above either. The window behind the curtains was wide open, but nobody was walking on the pavement outside. No cars went by on the street. Not the tiniest sound could be heard anywhere. Sophie had never known such a silence. Perhaps she told herself this was what they called the witching hour. The witching hour, somebody had once whispered to her, was a special moment in the middle of the night when every child and every grown-up was in deep, deep sleep. And all the dark things came out from behind and had the world to themselves. The moonbeam was brighter than ever on Sophie's pillow. She decided to get out of bed and close the gap in the curtains. You got punished if you were caught out of bed after lights out. Even if you said you had to go to the laboratory, that was not accepted as an excuse. And they punished you just the same, but there was no one about. Now Sophie was sure of that. She reached out her glasses that lay on the chair beside her bed. They had steel rims and very thick lenses, and she could hardly see a thing. Without them seeing, she put them on. Then she slipped out of bed and tiptoed over to the window. If you'd like to hear the end of the story, you can get it at the local library. Thank you for letting me read.
Hi, my name's Megan Swinger, and I'm gonna read Duck and Hen. Duck and Hen were friends. Duck and Hen were friends. They sang, whatever the day, whatever the weather, friends do everything together. Duck flew over the fence. Hen flew over the fence. Duck went down the path. Hen went down the path. They sang, whatever the weather, whatever the day, friends do everything together. when Hen said, I'm hungry. Let's scratch in the earth for words. Duck tried to scratch in the earth. I can't, said Duck. I don't have scratching feet. How do you get your food, said Hen. I dive in the pond for bugs, said Duck. All right, said Hen. Let's dive together. So Hen went in the pond and Duck went in the pond. They sang, whatever the day, whatever the weather, friends do everything together. Hen went into the water. Duck went in the water. Helps! Help, help, spluttered Hen. I don't have swimming feet. Duck helped Hen out of the water. Then Hen went away to scratch in the earth for worms, and Duck went away to dive in the pond for bugs. That night, when Hen and Duck sang, whatever the day, whatever the weather, friends can do most everything together, but not everything. Thank you for listening to me read.
Hi, my name is Alex Weaver, and I'm going to read Max's Dragon Shirt. Max loved his old blue pants more than anything. Those pants are disgusting, Max, said Max's sister Ruby. We're going to the store to buy you a new pair of brand new pants, Ruby said. Dragon shirts, said Max. No, Max, said Ruby. Mother only gave me $5 to buy pants. After that, there will be no money left. On the way up to boys' sportswear, Ruby saw a red dress that she possibly loved. She thought she would try it on just for fun. It was too tight. Ruby wanted to find another dress. Wait there and don't move, said Ruby. Dragon shirt, said Max, said Ruby. After we buy your new pants, we'll have no money left. Ruby put on a green dress. It was too big. Stay here for just a minute, Max, she said. Then she came back with a purple dress. The purple dress was ugly. I'll be right back, Max, said Ruby. After a while, Max woke up and Ruby was gone. He went to look for her. He saw her yellow dress and followed it out of girls' better dresses, into hats, and then into boys' sportswear, where he found a dragon shirt. Dragon shirt, please, said Max. Max asked Ruby. But it wasn't Ruby in the yellow dress. It was a teenager. Max screamed. Back into girls' better dresses, Ruby had heard it. She ran into the changing room. Max was gone. Ruby could not see him anywhere. She went down to the escalator to make up. Have you seen a little boy in blue pants? Ruby asked the perfume lady. No, said the perfume lady, but I have some nice blue perfume. Are you looking for a vacuum cleaner? Asked the man in large appliance. No, said Ruby, I'm looking for a little boy in blue pants. Ruby went up to the escalator to boys' sportswear. Max, where are you? She shouted. Are you looking for someone? Asked the sales lady. I'm looking for a little boy in blue pants, said Ruby. I saw a little boy in a green shirt, said the sales lady. He was looking for his sister in a yellow dress. That's me, said Ruby. No, it isn't, said the sales lady. That's a purple dress, if I've ever seen one. And if you would like to read the rest of this book, you can go to your local library. Thanks for listening to me read.
Hi, I'm Chelsea, and I'm going to read Aesop's stories. Once upon a time, there were two cats. Once upon a time, two cats found a large piece of cheese. They carried it outside to the house, into the garden, and then they broke it into two pieces. Your piece is bigger than mine, said the black cat. No, 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 said the white cat. My piece of cheese is smaller than yours. The two cats talked and talked about the sizes of pieces of cheese. Soon the black cat said, "This talking is getting us nowhere. Let's go ask the wise old monkey to tell us who has the bigger piece of cheese." And so the black cat and the white cat went to the wise old monkey who lived in the garden. "Tell us, wise old monkey," said the white cat, "which piece of cheese is bigger?" "Ah," said the monkey, "you can see that this piece of cheese on the side of the scale is too heavy. I will take a bite," said the monkey. The monkey took a big bite. "Look," said the monkey, "this piece of cheese on the other side of the scale is too heavy. Now I will take a bite off that piece of the cheese." And the monkey took a big bite of cheese. The cat did not want the monkey to eat their cheese, and so they said, "Give us back our cheese, wise old monkey. We will take it away and eat it." But the monkey said, "No, you cannot take the cheese away until I have done what you asked me to do. I will take one piece of cheese, just as big as another piece of cheese." The monkey took a bite off of one piece of cheese, and then a bite off the other piece of cheese. The cat stood by with tears in their eyes and watched their cheese get smaller and smaller. At last there were two very small pieces of cheese left. The monkey said, "I thought that one piece of cheese was just as big as another piece of cheese." But just when the cats thought they were going to get a little bit of the cheese back, the monkey said, "Of course, my dear cats, I know you wish to give me a present for helping you. In the matter, give me the present helping you in the matter of the cheese. I like this cheese so much that I will take the two small pieces of cheese for my presents. Thank you very much." And the monkey ate the last two bits of cheese. Thank you for letting me read, and if you would like to read the other stories, go to your local library.
Hi, my name is Evan Knoxon, and I'm going to be reading Grizzly and the Bumblebee. Grizzly Bear was in the park looking for honey when a bumblebee stung him on his paw. Grizzly Bear ran out of the park shouting, "Help, help! I've been stung by a grumblebee." "You mean a bumblebee?" said the park keeper. "That's right, a mumblebee," said Grizzly, who was not good at names. Down the street ran Grizzly, yelling, "Help, help! I've been stung by a bumblebee. Don't you mean a bumblebee? Said a woman. That's what I said, cried Grizzly as he ran fast. Home he went to Old Mother Grizzly. Help, help, I've been stung by a grumble mumble. Look at my paw. What you need is something cool, said Old Mother Grizzly. In here, put your paw in this bucket of ice cream. What a good idea, said Grizzly Bear. I'm feeling better already. When Old Mother Grizzly came back, all the ice cream was gone. I didn't tell you to eat it, she cried. I needed something cool on the inside as well as the outside. Grizzly Bear, said Grizzly Bear. Ice cream is very good when you get stung by a bumble bum. Thank you for letting me read. You can find this book at your local school.
Hello, I'm Brian Hart, and this is my book, Nighty Nightmare. It began at the bottom of a canoe in the middle of Boggy Lake, some 60 miles from home and 50 yards from solid ground. The gentle rocking of the boat was luring me to sleep. When I felt Mr. Monroe's hand come to rest on that spot between the tops of my ears where the hair goes every which way the scalp seems to lie forever and wait for a little love attention. I decided three paths usually led to some vicious scratching, but this time something was wrong. Mr. Monroe didn't lift his hand after the second path. Instead, he left it there, flat and heavy, like an iron, forgotten in the rush of attention and to more pressing matters. I looked up, hoping to hear he'd grown tired of fishing, and he was ready to head back to the cabin and cook up some s'mores. Ever since Toby and Pete introduced me to those gooey, crispy, chocolatey delights the summer before, I couldn't get enough. But s'mores were not what was on Mr. Monroe's mind at last. No, he was in the mood for reflection, and who better share to such moments? He was undoubtedly thinking that man's best friend himself. Harold, he said, staring off at the pine trees along the lake's edge, I'm going to be 40 soon. You know what that means, don't you? Birthday cake, I thought. It means half of my life is over, half of my road is traveled, half of my songs are sung. I'd never thought about middle age before. Gee, I thought half of my naps are taken. I whimpered sympathetically. Mr. Monroe looked at me and smiled. You understand what I'm talking about, don't you, old buddy? In all the years I'd known him, he'd never called me old buddy. I mean, he's a college professor. This was serious. You know what we need an adventure, Harold. We need to
do. We need to do. We need to do. We always wanted to do in our youth, but we never did. I never chewed a chair wig. I thought that would be fun. Listen, boy, we're only here for a few days, but we still have time to do something new and adventurous and fun. Let's go on an overnight camping trip. We'll sleep out in the open under the stars. What do you think, Harold? Mosquitoes, I thought. Ticks, I thought cockabirds. I wasn't sure I liked the idea at all, but then if you would like to know what happens, get this book at your local library. Thank you for listening to me read.
My name is Sierra Dietz, and I'm going to be reading Rumpelstiltskin. Once there was a poor miller who had a beautiful daughter. On his way to town one day, the miller encountered the king. Waiting to impress him, the miller said, "I have a daughter who knows the art of spinning straw into gold." Now the king had a possession for gold, and such an art intrigued him. So he ordered the miller to send his daughter to the castle straight away. When the girl was brought before him, the king led her to a room that was filled with straw. He gave her spools and a spinning wheel and said, "You may spin all the night, but if you have not spun this straw into gold by morning, you will have to die." With that, he locked the door and the girl was left inside alone. There sat the poor miller's daughter without the slightest idea how anyone could spin straw into gold. For the life of her, she did not know what to do. She grew more and more frightened, and then she began to weep. Suddenly, the door sprang open and a tiny man stepped in. "Good evening, Mr. Miller," he said. "Why are you sobbing?" "Oh," the girl cried, "I must spin this straw into gold, and I don't know how." "What will you give me if I spin it for you?" the little man asked. "My necklace," answered the girl. The little man took the necklace and sat down at the spinning wheel and pulled 3 times. Vroom, vroom, vroom. And the spool was wound full of gold thread and fitted another spool on, and vroom, vroom, vroom. 3 pulls, and that one too was full. And so it went until morning, when all the straw was spun and all the spools were full of gold. When the king came at sunrise, he was amazed and delighted, but all that gold only made him greedier. So he led the miller's daughter to a larger room filled with straw, and he ordered her to spin this straw too before dawn. And if she didn't, the king would kill her. And if you want to know the rest of the story, you can get it in a bookstore, or you could get it in a book order from our school. Thank you for letting me read.
My name's Laurel Simpson, and I'm going to read a book cut from the same cloth, and the story out of it that I'm going to read is Sal Fink. Sal Fink, legendary Mississippi River boatman Mike Fink, had one daughter, Sal, who was a ring-tailed roar in her own right.
In fact, she became known far and wide as the Mississippi Stoenner because of the way she would bellow, "Hee-yow!" when she was feeling high-spirited or ready for a fight. Up and down the river, she was known for fighting a duel with a thunderbolt, riding the river on the back of an alligator while standing upright on dancing Yankee Doodle, and even out-tracing a steamboat pulling her own keelboat with a hand-picked crew. The young woman was brave, hardy, and open-handed. She was dark-haired, handsome in a homespun way, short and as sturdily built as her pa. Like him, she could be as kind-hearted as a Connecticut grandmother or as rough as a Rocky Mountain bear. Sal also took after her ma in grit as well as looks. She would tell how one day before she was born, a thief broke into her cabin in the Kentucky wilderness. Her ma, doing the washing down by the creek, heard a noise and saw the thief running out of the cabin with a bench in hand. Mike was out hunting, so she picked up her gun and hunting knife, neither was far from her side, and took off after the feller. Finding that he could run faster than she took aim with her rifle and fired, winging the thief in his right thigh. When the wounded man stumbled and fell, the woman whooped, "Glory, hallelujah!" Straight away, Miss Fink caught up with him, gathered up the stolen ham in her apron, and tied the villain's hands together. Then she dragged him back to the cabin. Just you wait till Mike gets back," she said, as she went about fixing supper. As it turned out, when Mike returned that evening, he took one look at the bruised and battered prisoner and said, "Seems to me he's already suffered plenty." Then to the thief he said, "Give me your word to won't bother us again, and you're a free man." The fellow took one look at Miss Fink, who was sitting in a rocker cleaning her Kentucky rifle. She shuddered and said, "Lordy, you won't see me round these parts ever again." Then he limped off as fast as his skimpy leg would allow. And Sal was every bit as tough as her folks. One morning, when she was still a young child, she went out in the morning to gather acorns for her pigs. Hearing a curious sound from a huge hollow oak tree looked inside. With a terrible growl, a huge she-bear, followed by her cubs, took off. The old bear tried to grab her long hair or a fringed buckskin shirt, while the young ones snapped at her heels with the furry wildcats. If you want to hear the rest of this story and the stories in this book, you could go to your local library. Thank you for listening to me read.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Bond, and I'm going to read Best Friends. Louise Jenkins and I love horses, but we aren't allowed to have real ones. I said, let's pretend that a stallion named Golden Silverwind lives in a stable between our houses. Louise loved that idea. At school, we pushed our desks together. We played on the same team. At lunch, we shared our chocolate milk. Chocolate is Louise's favorite, and it's mine too. After school, we pretended that we rode Golden Silverwind. Our magic witch hats gave us the power to make our neighborhood anything we wanted it to be. And after dark, when it seemed to be haunted, we weren't scared as long as we were together. We were best friends. Summer came, and so did Louise's aunt and uncle. They took her to a mountain resort for a vacation. Louise told me that she didn't want to go. It will be awful, she said, and I'll miss you every day. When she left, our neighborhood turned into a lonely desert. If Louise would only be able to escape. I wished she'd get a contagious
disease, so they have to let her come home. I wouldn't be afraid of catching it. I'd nurse her up to health with chocolate milk. I missed her so much. I wish that Gold and Silverwind and I could rescue her. Finally, I got a postcard. It said, "Dear Kathy, this place is terrific. Yesterday I saw 3 deer behind the lodge. There are lots of kids my age. Aunt Pat and Uncle Bart take us camping on Pinecone Peak. I hope you're having fun too. Love from your friend, Louise." Later, I heard Miss Jenkins say that Louise had made lots of new friends and was having the best summer of her life. It wasn't fair. She wasn't lonely like me. She wasn't missing me at all. Louise Jenkins was a traitor. She was my worst friend. I wish that a volcano eruption would blast Pinecone Peak into pebbles. Mom told me not to be jealous of Louise's new friends. Later she said that the house across the street has been sold. Maybe there will be someone new your age in the new family. I prayed for 50 kids my age, 50 new best friends with real horses. When the moving man came, I asked him, "How many people in the family?" He said, "1. And if you want to hear what happens, if you want to hear the rest of the story, you can get it at your local library. Thank you for letting me read it to you."
Hi, my name is Trieste Dirksen, and I'm going to read Animalia. An armored armadillo avoiding an angry alligator. Beautiful blue butterflies basking by a babbling brook. Crafty crimson cats carefully catching crusty crayfish. Diabolical dragons daintily devouring delicious delicacy. 8 enormous elephants expertly eating Easter eggs. 4 fat frogs fishing for frightened fish. Great green gorillas growing grapes in a gorgeous glass greenhouse. Horribly hairy hogs hurrying homeward on heavily harnessed horses. Ingenious iguanas improvising an intricate impromptu on impossibly impractical instruments. Jovial jackals juggling jugs of jelly in the jungle. Kid Kookaburra and Kelly Kangaroo kidnapping Kitty Koala. Lazy lions lounging in the local library. Meticulous mice monitoring mysterious mathematical messages. 9 nautical newts navigating near Norway. 1 outrageous old ostrich ordering an onion oatmeal. Proud peacocks preening perfect plumage. Quivering quails queuing quietly for quail. Richly wrought rhinoceroses riding in rickety red rickshaws. 6 slithering snakes gliding silently southward. 2 tigers taking the 10:20 train to Timbuktu. Unruly unicorn appending urns of ultramarine umbrellas. If you'd like to hear more of this book, you can get it at your local library.
Thank you for listening to me read.
What do you love?